The devil's always in the details. Yet on the news, they laugh and chide about the fact that he once was following holistic type of eating, or he was trying to eat well and take supplements and herbs. And Nick and I were talking about the medical priesthood. Like, how do they know that didn't actually elongate his life? What makes them think that what they do was causal for the benefit and what he did was not causal for the benefit? It's very interesting how the whole thing is slanted.
Because they've drunk their own Kool-Aid, and because, open up a USA Today, open up, your local newspaper, and look to see how many ads for pharmaceutical medicines are in there. It is gigantic money the pharmaceutical industry gives to media in the United States. So do you actually think that anybody who owns a newspaper or a magazine or a TV show, mainstream, is going to put any negative PR at all about pharmaceutical companies? You think they're going to bite the hand that feeds them? No, of course not. And because we don't really have a free press here anymore, because everybody's in bed together, and because the pharmaceutical industry is such gigantic amounts of money and PR, we have all gone down the rabbit hole, collectively together. It is a gigantic problem of biblical proportions. We would not accept this type of lousy outcomes in any other industry. But when the M.D.s do it, they get a pass. When the M.D.s kill us, we give them a pass. Listen, according to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, this is the United States Department of Health and Human Services, 15,000 Medicare patients a month are killed by M.D. treatments. 15,000 Medicare patients a month are killed. 3,000 people are killed in the Twin Towers and we go to war. But 15,000 a month are killed by your neighborhood MD, and we don't bat a freaking eyelash. It's because we don't know any better, and we're suffering from the misconception of 100 years of brainwashing that the MD is the undisputed king of medicine and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack. And even though the treatments offered by our MDs don't work, even though the treatments offered by our MDs can at best only manage our health, we go to them like lemmings following each other over the cliff to our collective doom.
All right, now cut to the nutrients. That's the exciting part.
It is.
That's the hopeful part. The other part is so depressing and such a bummer and so horrendous. On page 94, you said, in the world of nutritional supplements, the recipe is everything. Let's talk about calcium and explain what you mean there.
Okay, so, my colleague, Dr. Wallach, was in charge of $25 million federally funded research from 1970 to 1982. They did 25,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries and slide cultures with special stains. It was a gigantic amount of in-your-face clinical work. And all of that research proved that the majority of chronic illness are caused by nutrient deficiencies. Nutrient deficiencies. Not enough calcium, you get high blood pressure. Not enough vitamin C, you get scurvy. Everybody knows that. Not enough selenium, you get fibromyalgia. There are 278 diseases caused by not enough calcium. But because medical doctors have no training in medical nutrition, no respect for medical nutrition, no experience with medical nutrition, and all they know is drugs and surgery, it is impossible for your medical doctor to help you overcome a chronic illness, because the majority of chronic illnesses are simple nutrient deficiency diseases. They are simple nutrient deficiencies. However, last year in the United States, we spent approximately $70 billion with a B dollars on vitamins and herbs and nutritional supplements, and everybody is still sick. Well, how can these two things be both the same? If Dr. Glidden, you're saying all chronic diseases caused by nutrient deficiencies, and yet we're taking vitamins and minerals up to yin-yang, there should be no more sickness in the United States. Why is everybody still sick? Because of the recipe. All wine is made from grapes, but Annie Boonspring's green apple wine is quite a bit different from a nice French Cabernet, right? My grandmother's chicken soup was a lot better than the chicken soup in the can at the supermarket. What's the difference? The recipe's the difference. So let's take a look at calcium. All right. So the RDA for calcium is 1,200 milligrams a day. Now, we could have a whole show about the recommended daily allowances.
It's a farce. That's what I do know. It's a farce. It's always been a farce. It's been at least 3 times off, correct?
That's correct, right? But, we do need a certain amount of calcium. So let's just say that we can collectively agree, just for argument's sake, that we need 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day. Okay. So you go to the health food store and there's 100 calcium supplements to choose from. They have more calcium, different types of calcium than anything else at a normal health food store.
Which, by the way, is extremely confusing for the consumer.
And it should be, and it is. I mean, it's confusing for holistic medical doctors. The information that I'm about to tell you, I think 50 of my colleagues know, maybe 50 of us, all right? It's a confusing situation, but it doesn't need to be. And this is one of the reasons why I wrote the book. And my colleague, Dr. Wallach, and I give, we give about 400 free lectures a year, free, all around the country, and radio interviews all the time to bring this information into, we got to drag people into the light of medical nutrition. Okay, so here we go with calcium. So, this bottle over here is $10 a bottle, and the one at the other end is $110 a bottle. So most people are going to get the one in the middle. And, the clerk at the health food store, they don't know the difference. They're happy to sell you the one for $110. So you get the one for $35. And it says right there on the label in big letters, calcium carbonate, 500 milligrams per capsule. Well, you think, son of a gun. The RDA is 1,200, so if I take 3, that's 1,500. I'm going to get a little extra. That'll be insurance. That's what I'm going to do. And there's 60 capsules in the bottle. Hallelujah, and pass the hat. Life is good. Well, not so much. Because in one 500 milligram capsule of calcium carbonate, there is approximately 200 milligrams of calcium and 300 milligrams of carbonate. Well, 200, that's not 500, but, so now I just need to take 6, right? Well, no. Because it's your stomach's job to cleave that molecule with stomach acid and liberate the calcium from the carbonate. But in order to do that, your stomach acid has to be strong. Guess what your stomach needs to have strong stomach acid? Calcium. So if you're calcium deficient, you're going to have weak stomach acid, and your stomach is not going to be able to sever that bond and liberate the calcium.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
But let's just say, for argument's sake, that it can, okay? So your stomach liberates that bond, and now you've got 200 milligrams of calcium floating through your blood. Only problem is, calcium from calcium carbonate is approximately 15% bioavailable. 15%.
Oh, my God.
15% of 200 is 30 milligrams, which means in order to meet the RDA with one 500 milligram capsule of calcium carbonate, you would need to swallow 40 a day, 40 a day.
It's really the devil in the details. The plot thickens here.
This is how Sally Field can go on TV and, legally say that, oh, I got osteoporosis even though I took my calcium. Yeah, well, you stupid twit, you only took 3. You should have taken 40. Now, that's like me going on TV and saying, oh, I tried to put that fire in my backyard out and I used water, but it didn't work.
Wait, I want to go back and I want to reframe because I love the Flying Nun. I'm sure she's pretty smart, and probably she relied on a traditional doctor which didn't tell her what you're now describing.
Either because he didn't know, or because he didn't care, or because he withheld the information. That's correct. And by the way, this is first year biochemistry. This is not rocket science. Okay?
Okay.
But anyway, you need 1,200 milligrams. I'm certainly not advocating that anybody take 40 calcium capsules a day. For goodness sake, there's only 60 in the bottle, right? You need a bottle every other day. It's crazy. You just had the wrong recipe is my point. If you get a calcium supplement that's 97% bioavailable and that has 1,200 milligrams in each serving, and 97% of 1,200, well, that's pretty good. And if it has the cofactors and vitamin D and phosphorus and other nutrients that your body needs in order to metabolize the calcium